He did some crazy stuff. I saw him in Austin, Texas, when it was at a bar that didn't usually have punk gigs, but for some reason it was back in the 80's. Some reason they were hosting like a punk show at this, like, it was more just like a rock and roll club. Not even rock and roll. It was just more like a bluesy kind of a club. But I don't know. Somehow they booked Gg-allin to play there, and all these it was mostly like young like frat boys and sorority girls that came to the show. It was really weird. But I knew the guy working the door, and I remember we were talking, and I was just like, this is fucking weird, man. Like he's not going to go more than like 10 or 15 minutes before the shit gets broken up, And it was a two-story venue. So I got in. I didn't drink or anything then, and I just went in. I went to the second floor, and I sat up there, and I was like, he had some band open for him, just like some regular punk band. But then when he came on, all the college kids were like right up at the front, and I was like, man, this shit is not gonna last. And it was like maybe 2-3 songs into it, like microphone right up his ass, shit flying everywhere. People, I remember these like college girls, like they would have like nice dresses on, so they just got fucking covered. A bunch of the jocks went up to try to hit him, or they did hit him, but he loved that, man. Like he didn't care. Like he was a total masochist. He didn't care. And they were hitting him, and he's like hitting himself with a shit covered mic and like throwing shit on him, and then the bouncers didn't want to fucking touch him. People were like just covered in shit. There's blood everywhere.
So he shit on the microphone, or
he either shoved the mic or his hand, or he shoved something up his ass. So, and he had like this explosive, and he used to take laxatives before the show, so he had like explosive diarrhea, and then it was all over the mic, and he was just like throwing, his shit was going everywhere. It was like landing on people. I was upstairs in the fucking balcony. I was cracking up. I thought it was like the funniest thing ever. And then people were just punching him, and he was covered in blood and shit, and like.
So how long did the set last?
His whole set was, it couldn't have been probably less than 15 minutes. 10-15 minutes, but everyone, like, there weren't even that many punks at the show. Like all of us knew that it wasn't going to go very long, and none of the other people though that just like went to that venue, I guess, for regular shows, like they had no idea what they were in for, so they're probably traumatized.
You never want to be in the front row at a Gg-allin show. You want to stay the fuck back.
Yeah, I saw him a couple of times back in the 80's, but yeah, I never stood in the front. That was fucking.
I missed that.
Train. It was pretty brutal. Like the stuff that would happen. It was.
Because I think I was still pretty young when he died.
He died like 9. I was living in New York.
18 or something.
I was living in New York. I remember that night because I went dumpster diving. He was playing at this place, the gas station on Avenue B. But I had already seen him, and I was like, I'm not going to that show. I don't care. And I went dumpster diving. And then I came home. I used to get home like 1 in the morning to unload the cart. And then the next day, it was way before cell phones and everything like that, but the next day word started going around because it was him and like two or three other people we knew that got like a bad batch of dope, and they all, like, him and all these other people overdosed that night. But yeah, I remember it was like 92 or 93 when it happened.
Yeah, it was pretty young.
And then yeah,
I still have one of his records from back in the day.
Some of his early shit was actually, before he was even doing like punk rock stuff, he was doing like this rockabilly in probably in the 70's, and that was really good, like the rockabilly shit. And then some of the punk stuff was good. I was never a big fan of like the Texas Nazis, but he did like the Jabbers. Some of the Gg and the Jabbers was good, and some of the Murder-junkies was good. Yeah, the Gg-allin and the Texas Nazis, not really a big fan of that, but he did have some okay songs, like some pretty funny songs. But
I don't even think there's anybody that's even comparable that's ever has existed since
bloody
like that.
Bloody Mess and the Scabs, but he's a fucking hippie down in Ashland now.
What does he do? That's
Bloody Mess. He's like 60 something now, but he started in Peoria, Illinois, and that was his band, Bloody Mess and the Scabs, and it was kind of like Gg-allin, but not quite to the same extreme. But then Bloody Mess became like he kind of started like becoming a hippie, and he moved to Ashland, outside of Ashland, goes to all these ashrams and does all this like hippie shit these days and meditation and stuff. But he was like
sellout.
He was kind of like but he was a lot nicer than Gg-allin. Gg-allin was just like a fucking prick and a rapist and shit.
Yeah, so. He was like so extreme.
He was.
But even just by any standards, like of time. Yeah. You'd be like, yeah, that's not cool.
Well, the weird thing to me about Gg-allin too, like, I mean, I'll admit, like, I listen to some of the songs still, but he was always like one of those people that I was really adamant, like, I was never gonna like actually buy the music or like ever support him, especially after the rape conviction. I was just like, there's no way I'm gonna support somebody like this. But if I have like a song on the iPod or whatever, and I'm not paying for it, I'm not giving him any money, then I don't see anything wrong with that. But I'm not gonna, because when he got out of jail after he did that prison time in Michigan, he started like, after he did like 2 or 3 years for rape, and then when he got out of prison, he started doing shows again, and I was just like, there's no way, like, I'm not gonna give money to someone that's like a fucking convicted rapist.
It's the same with so when the singer from Fang got out of
I felt the same way, Sammy.
Well, somebody did an article about it.
Yeah.
Like at which point is there a point where you forgive, or is there a point where you, like, where do we draw those lines? Because if he did his time and it'd been what, 15 years?
He did 20? Like 10 or 15 years in prison.
But I mean, I had the same, like, I don't know where I draw the line. I think it's easy because they're not making new music. It's easy to just like let it go.
No, I don't. I kind of felt the same way. Like, I remember when they started playing again, and then they played a couple places I could have gone, but like I chose not to, you know. But that's what I was saying. So the weird thing for me was, like, after that rape, after the Gg-allin rape conviction, and then I'd be in all these different cities, and I'd see like all these like super young crusty girls, like 16, 17, maybe not even that old, maybe 15, and they'd all like be sporting like Gg-allin patches and like Gg-allin shirts, but they're like young crusty girls. And then I remember talking to some of them and stuff, and I'd be like, well, about, like, you got the patch and shit, you got the shirt, like, about Gg-allin, right? He just did like 3 years for fucking rape, and they're like, whatever, fucking Gg-allin. This is always weird, like being like some young girl that was just like so like super supportive, even though he was like total fucking douchebag, like